It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Now, this morning, once again, we are in the presence of greatness. She was one of our very first incredible guests who joined us on Expresso at the beginning of the lockdown, and she has ignited the fire in many parents to create a functional homeschooling setup amidst changing conditions all round. Her name, of course, the incredible Basetsana Kumalo, and this formidable force is joining us via video call once again to share more tips on keeping the kids' minds stimulated as well as how to maintain fitness during lockdown. Bassie, good morning to you. It's so good to see you. You look amazing. Wow.
Thank you, Gatleha. Good morning to you.
I've got to ask you, I mean, when we last spoke to you, you showed the nation the home classroom setup that you'd made in your office. How have you maintained that over the last couple of weeks playing mama/teacher?
Let me be very honest with you. It's been quite daunting. There are days when my kids listen to me, and then there are days when they say, but mommy, you're being too hard on us. But I have kept the structure going, still waking them up at a particular time, making sure they've had their breakfast. And then we move into this very office, which is, like you rightly say, has become a classroom. And just the amount of work, the sheer amount of work that these little people have to get through has just taken me aback. I have newfound respect for the teachers. Thank you for everything that you do. My son turns 8 today, and Wintle is the youngest. She's 5. And so I'm definitely hands-on with them. Whereas opposed, Nati at 15, he's an independent worker. He needs to be in class by 7:20, not a minute late, because what they do then, they do a roll call of who's in class, online obviously, and if your child is not in class, you get an email from the school to say that Nati was not in class. With Wintle, I'm working on her phonics, her fine motor skills, so we're learning how to cut with the scissors. She does some maths, and with Jose got a lot to get through. We're doing bonds, we're doing core, we're doing science, we're doing spelling, we're doing English, and isiZulu as well. So yeah, by the end of the day, I'm wiped out. But because I still have a full-time job, so I also have to be on Zoom calls with my teams across the different businesses. So it's just so intense. And but some days are better than others. Some days you feel that you can be able to get through it, but some days I just say, guys, you all just have to do your part as well. We all have to work as a team.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can only imagine the level of multitasking that you've had to do. Tell me about switching the hats between mama and teacher. Is there an hour that it switches over and you go from mom, we've just had breakfast, and now it's teacher mode, now everyone in class? And how do you manage that working back and forth? Because you've got to have a bit of a soft side to you, that is the mama side, but there's also the disciplinarian, strict teacher side.
So funny these days that I actually remind myself of my mother, who was a teacher for 40 years.
Wow.
And we used to call her Mutter. So Mutter at home would be that mommy that was very tender and soft and endearing. But she taught me from sub A, well, you know how old I am now, I say sub A, until standard 2. And my mother was the hardest on me in class. And I find with my kids that I have to find that fine balance. And what I'm also impressing upon them is that this is not a holiday time. You would be at school, you would be in a classroom, you would have a teacher in front of you. So what I'm trying to do is to equip you so that when you go back to school, you can be able to be at your best.
Talk to me a little bit about how you've gone about explaining to the children the crisis that we find ourselves in, not just as a country, but the world, because, all of a sudden, one day we were free roaming and it was absolutely brilliant, and the next day we were under lockdown, which was a drastic change for adults, and you can just imagine what kind of impact that might have on children, their mental health, their understanding of their surroundings. So how have you gone about delivering the message and making them understand exactly what is happening around them?
So in the beginning, they were rather confused about what COVID-19 is, what coronavirus is, especially the 2 little ones. So what I did then, I did charts that I put around the kitchen that basically explains what the coronavirus is, how you contracted, and I did, diagrams, around the fact that, you can be able to contract it, from somebody who's coughing, touching your nose oftentimes, or too many times, and having to wash your hands diligently for 20 seconds and sterilizing your hands. And so for the time being, you're going to have to be at home until the president tells us when it is safe to be out there. And so they began to understand and process the intensity of, what this means, because they can't see their friends. So once a week we have Zoom play dates, and then it's so funny the things that they talk about. So they'll say, what are you doing? No, I'm playing with my doll. No, I've just finished my homework. What are you eating? No, I'm eating popcorns. And what has been so wonderful for me as their mother is I'm getting to know my children better. And each one has such a unique personality, and each one has to be mothered differently, and their world is really friends, school, and home. And the fact that they have not left home for 2 months, it's quite daunting for them, but you keep them busy as best as you can.
Absolutely, but with an incredible mom like you, it's no wonder things are running as smoothly as they are in the house.
Wow.
And we really appreciate.
Some days are better than others, let me be honest. Some days I get it right, and some days I need some me time. I just need, and I take that me time by just getting out on the road and training and exercising, just to, just stimulate those good hormones, those endorphins. Because if I don't do that, I think I will get a bit mental of them.
Just a little bit, We're going to touch on that a little bit later on, but thank you very much for taking the time to chat to us once again this morning as we reflect a little bit on your role as mama, a role as teacher for the children as well. But later on, we're going to be diving deep into how Mam Bassie embraces the full role of mama and chat about motherhood, especially ahead of this Mother's Day coming around on Sunday.